Hi, friends, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Abair, and today I'm talking about God does her best work in the devil's workshop. And I want to talk to you about rethinking goal making. And what do we do in the meantime? Now what? What do we do when we're killing time? I think that's where our most creative enterprises come from. Farting around. Let's talk about how God does her best work in the devil's workshop. Stick around. I think this is going to be a good one. I think one of the most important things that I could offer you, particularly if you're a goal setter, is to understand that the pinnacle in life is not the highlight. Those are little blips on a radar screen. The wedding is not the marriage. You need to think about the meantime and the then what. So if you fantasize with, a lot of people fantasize about lots of money, which is fine. It's okay to fantasize about lots of money, but then you have to, one of the things that's important is to, then what? Once you have all the money, then what? Because there's always a then what. And we don't think that far. We don't really think beyond our goals. What will these tools that I fantasize about having, what will I do with them? Besides show them off? Is that really what I want to do? Do I want to, if money is a tool, which it is, do I want to have all these screwdrivers and circular saws and pliers and vice grips? Do I want to have barns and barns and barns full of tools and say, hey, come over and look at my tools? Great, I'll come look at your tools. All the money on your computer screen, millions and millions of dollars. Look at my computer screen. Look, it's got, that's great. Now what? What are you going to do with it? I don't know, but look at it. Okay. I can go cash it in and we can fill up the swimming pool with these $1,000 bills and we can take off our clothes and swim in it. Okay, that's a little bit more useful. You can't eat it, you see. But we don't think that far. What are you going to build with it? What are you going to use it to create? And that leaves us with a hollow goal. Something that doesn't really make any sense. And so you got these pinnacle moments that are called highlights that don't boost you up because you realize that's not really what life is about. Life is about the meantime. So 99% of your life, 99.9999% of your life is in the sandwich part of life. What you would call your average day. And social media never gives us a clear picture of an average day. You see me, if you've been watching my videos, you see me 15, 20 minutes a day. I have an average day. This is a blip on the radar when I make my YouTube channels stuff. Most of my life is just meantime. One of the things that helped me break through understanding the folly of a goal is two things. Deepak Chopra one time described his average day. And he says he woke up early in the morning, he did yoga and meditation and did all this wonderful thing. He said, I didn't really start anything until 11 a.m. I didn't start any writing or interviews or anything like that. And then maybe in the afternoon I'll write a little bit. And then I'll play with my grandchildren and then do some more meditation. And I thought, well, damn, that's it. That's the meantime right there. And then my friend Jim, who retired many years ago, I asked him, Jim, what do you do? And he said, I work in the yard. Basically, I do what I want. I get up when I want. I read a little bit, have coffee on the porch, talk with Richard, and maybe go to the store, plan my meals, do the ironing, whatever. And I thought, boy, that sounds great. And then I got to thinking about my average day. And that's what I wanted. I wanted an average day. I wanted a day where I could wake up and tinker around in the meantime. And I realized that this is where great creative enterprises begin, in something my father used to call farting around. You say, you guys are always farting around. And if you take the F off of that word, you are arting around. You are making something with what's there. You're making something with meanwhile. In this idle workshop that is often titled The Devil's. The problem with the Devil's Workshop, as we've come to know it, is that we fill it up with drinking and partying and smoking weed and vegging on Netflix and plopping in front of the TV. That's really the Devil's Workshop. The Devil's Workshop, our idle time that I'm trying to think of, is tinkering, messing around. What are you going to do while you're waiting for your goals to come to fruition? How are you going to spend your average day? This is where the real meat of sustaining living comes in. And I just wanted lots and lots of idle time. Number one, to rest from this rat race I was living, this life of obligation. I wanted a day, I wanted many days where I could wake up and decide, what am I going to do now? And when nothing came, I would rest. I would clean out a closet. I would tinker around, sit in the yard, watch the birds. When we were young, I grew up in South Louisiana, and we would go trawling, and you drag a net behind the boat to catch all sorts of sea creatures. And we would catch our own shrimp. And my father and my grandfather me and my two brothers would have to go with them to help. And so while the boat was dragging the net, we had idle time. Of course, being the three young boys we were, we would play around on the CB, talk to other boaters, tell stories. We had little nets. We tried to catch things on the side of the boat. We would feed the seagulls. Sometimes we jump in the water. And then when we had to haul in the net, it was this cornucopia of trash. And we had to pick out all the shrimp. But they were hidden among minnows and stingrays and soft-shell crabs and flounders and catfish and all manner of stuff. And boy, that was something. We'd love to just mess around with all the sea creatures. And that pissed off my dad, because he'd say, oh, farting around. Pick out the shrimp. We gotta work. It took 2 hours to drag the net, and it took about 15 minutes to clean out the trough and pick out all the shrimp. And my dad didn't have enough patience to examine the weird stingrays, the funny-looking soft-shell crabs, the weird flounders flopping around. We didn't have time to throw minnows to the seagulls and watch them fly, make a magical moment out of this treasure trove of junk. That's what made trawling fun. All the shit, all the trash became a wonderment of tinkering around. And most people, we got to pick out the shrimp. They don't make a joyful project out of every day. Seeing who you're going to see today. They don't think about the joy of the meantime. Making do with what you have. So farting around is really arting around. So while you're so-called working on your goals or whatever it is, if there's nothing really you can do about it, go ride your bike. I've been doing a lot of bike riding, dog walking, lap swimming, and then I think about these wonderful, I fart around, and then I think about things for my YouTube channel, and things for my next book, and things for my blog. It's like, wow, creative thinking is in the shower. It's just ticking around, farting around, being in the devil's workshop, and God, the creative mind, starts flowing. And penicillin is discovered. Penicillin is an accident. Thomas Edison dicked around in a laboratory. Steve Jobs farted around in a garage. Bill Gates farted around on a mainframe computer in high school. His mother started a computer club so little geeky Bill Gates could go geek out and learn how to program computers. And billionaires are born. Billionaires are accidentally made. Go figure. And all they were doing, Jeff Bezos was just farting around with how cool it would be to sell things on the internet. Packing up packages and bringing them to the post office in his little Honda Accord. Innocent, farting around. And that's what we did as kids. My mom would say, go play outside. There's nothing to do. Go play outside. And it was a whole wonderment. It was this enchanted world of sticks and mud and creatures. We had a ball. Came up with all kinds of great things. My grandfather had a barn, and we just go in there and get scraps of wood and nail things together and create things. We're so creative as kids, you see. And this is the way to live. You got to fart around. That's how you really make a living. You experiment. And you stumble across this great idea, and you start an enterprise, a business, a service, a charity, a YouTube channel. I'm just farting around. That's all I'm doing. I get on here and I blather a few words, see how it goes, see if I can make it more clear, get excited, geek out on my ideas, and put it up on the internet and go play with the dog. Maybe I'll stumble across some virility. So there you have it. God does her best work in the devil's workshop. It's not about the highlights of your life. It's about being the highlight of every moment. Because that's what makes life fun and enchanting, and playing around with your own curiosity in what's called idle time. I know you got big dreams, so do I. In the meantime, I'm going to ride my bike. I'm going to mess around, write a few chapters in my book, sit in the backyard and watch the birds, play around with the dog, go walk the dog, no purpose, farting around, arting around, because I know I'm well taken care of. I know everything's all right. I don't have distrust. My trust issues I've worked through. So now I can tinker around. And that's a wonderful way. Design your average day. If you give it some thought, you realize you may come to the conclusion, I don't know what my average day would look like because I feel so obligated. Your average day is designed around one hypothetical situation. What would you do if you had all the time in the world and all the money in the world? See, we can't think that far because we haven't let ourselves go into that hypothetical world. That's how you transcend negative beliefs. You go into the hypothetical. Okay, I guess I'll go into the hypothetical. If I had all the money in the world and I had all the time, I don't know how it would spend my time because I've always thought I have no time and I have no money. Go into the hypothetical and you realize that the antithetical, the antithesis, is negative thinking. So you come up with an antithetical or a hypothetical situation, one that circumvents negative thinking, build a new thesis, and test it. So all your theories become reality. If you go into the hypothetical world, you have circumvented negative thinking. Hypothetically, design an average day that has all the time in the world and all the money in the world and work from there. That's the Devil's Workshop. And that's where you're going to do your best work. My name is Ryan Hebert. Please check out my blog. It's called mymorningmotivator.com.